What is up? My name is Jake, and in this video, I'm going to be going over how I use expensive dopamine to 100x my productivity every single day. So without further ado, let's get right on into it without wasting any time. First off, most importantly though, who am I? What is my story? So I used to be that guy that was made fun of by his friends. I thought that was completely normal. I thought friends were just there to kind of make fun of you, call you fucking ugly, and poke at your belly, make fun of you. I thought that was normal, right? Then I realized later it wasn't. I look skinny on the outside, as you can see in this photo here, this photo here. Like when I wore a regular fit to oversized t-shirt, I looked normal. I thought I blended in like everybody else. But the problem was, as soon as I take my shirt off, I was instantly aware of my situation. I didn't like what I saw. Like I literally would brush my teeth and not look in the mirror because I didn't want to see what was going on. I was just living in avoidance, right? And I was using what I call cheap dopamine. So as soon as my shirt came off, I felt vulnerable because I consider myself pretty confident, despite what I told you earlier about the friends. Like I still felt like I took it well. I took it on the chin. I was like, I'm good. I can handle this. This is just how friendship goes. How it goes being guys to a certain degree, you know. Um, but as soon as the shirt came off, I felt like my energy completely changed, and people noticed. Some people even told me, even my own friends who knew me for who I was and I was confident in myself. And as soon as I took the shirt off, we were at the pool, we were at the beach, or like, especially when I was with a girl I was talking to or dating, and I had to take my shirt off in front of her, I would change up because I knew I was exposing myself and my true habits and how I really was treating myself. And I knew it wasn't good. I knew I had to do something about it, but I was just putting it off. So I was chasing dopamine all the time. Dopamine is the emotion that makes you, the chemical that makes you feel really good, right? I was smoking a ton of weed, eating fast food. I worked at fast food places, so I didn't make it any easier. Eating a ton of sugar, junk foods, skipping the gym. I would take so many naps and binge ate like nobody's business. So I would typically not eat the entire day because I wanted to get lean, I wanted to get a flat stomach, wanted to be thin like everyone else. So I wouldn't eat throughout the day. And then I would come home from school or work or whatever, and then binge eat like crazy because I'm so hungry and my hunger's all the way up here. This photo was when I worked at Taco Bell. I took home 2 taco burrito cravings packs. It was me and my friend, but still, like, that's way too much food. It's 4 5-layer burritos and 4 tacos per each of those. Absolutely crazy. In this photo, this is when I was really bad. I was smoking weed every single day. If I went a day without, it was a surprise. And you can see I was trying to eat healthy here. See, I have 2 protein bars, 2 Nature Valley bars, 1 chocolate chewy dipped bar, 2 pieces of buttered toast. And I say bulking. I'm trying to say like, oh, am I technically bulking if I say that? I'm just high and trying to make excuses for myself. This is literally like so funny that I say that because it shows my mental state where my mind was at, right? It was in avoidance. Staying out late, going out on the weekends. This was when I was in college at San Diego State University, staying up till 1:11 a.m. That night, I stayed out until like 4 or 5 a.m. talking with complete strangers who I had no chemistry with whatsoever because it's early in the morning, 4 a.m. Everybody already left, all the interesting people at least. It was like 5 or 6 people, complete strangers. I was still somewhat drunk, but I kept drinking to just stay drunk and keep having that feeling of having fun, being out because I wanted to be out because I feel like I didn't have the friends and the relationships that I deserved or that I really wanted in high school. So when I went to college, I tried to fulfill that with a bunch of strangers and a bunch of girls, and it wasn't good, right? It's what I say, cheap dopamine, still drinking, meeting random people that you never don't really care about. Compared to now, when I introduced expensive dopamine into my life, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do, my physique changed from looking like this to looking like this. This is just the physique, though. There's a lot that goes behind this, right? So I'm able to eat foods like this, enjoy them, have them consistently. I mean, this is going out to a restaurant. Not every time I cook does it look this nice, but you see my point. It's eating healthier. It's consistency. It's using expensive dopamine. I have a 6-pack of abs, and I just want to show you this not to flex, not to brag, but just to show you like I'm just a guy. So when you see this, it's not just, oh, another fitness influencer just showing his sauce, secret sauce, what he does. I don't really care because it doesn't really apply to me. I promise you, you're probably smarter than me. I can almost guarantee that. You're probably more dedicated than me. We'll see. But I just need to show you this to show you that I'm coming from where you currently are. So what is expensive dopamine? What do I mean by that? This is a term that I came up with myself. I don't know if someone else made it, but I made it up myself. Didn't get it from anyone else. So first of all, cheap dopamine, what I referred to before, is cheap, easy, low value. So this is considered like scrolling on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, eating junk food. I would obviously do that a lot when I would binge. I would literally have like 2 Pop-Tarts, not like 2 that are in one package, 2 packages, so 4 Pop-Tarts. I loved buttered toast. Sometimes I would have 3 bowls of cereal too. So just like absolute junk like that. Scrolling has been bad. Honestly, I'm still sort of fighting that urge. Has gotten better with some tips, but It was a lot worse before. I would literally spend hours and hours just scrolling on social media, impulse buying stuff too. Whenever it's like, oh, I just want something, I'll buy it right away, rather than like prolonging that. Compared to expensive dopamine, this is earned delayed gratification tied to progress in your actual goals. So having it's the things that are like hard and like expensive, not always monetarily, like buying a new car, for example, that is expensive, yes, but it's because you saved up so much money. That's what's making it expensive dopamine, because you're saving up. A six pack is not monetarily expensive, but it's expensive in the sacrifices you put towards it. So you're not getting cheap instant gratification, instant dopamine. You don't instantly work out, do a couple push-ups and sit-ups, and you get a six-pack in a couple minutes. It takes time, so it's considered expensive dopamine. Marriage is probably the biggest example of expensive dopamine. You spend years and years finding a partner, learning what you like and preferences in a person you look to marry. Find a girl, go on so many dates, meet her family, have her meet your family, all this stuff, like mess with some finances, emotional time, effort to eventually get married. That is probably the most expensive dopamine. Now, I need to tell you a little example to kind of set and frame delayed gratification and what expensive dopamine looks like. So I love this scene music, this Warped Tour kind of music, and I've loved it for a long time now. And I love collecting CDs too, so I have a bunch of like CD albums. But I was looking at this CD in specific, where these Warped Tour compilation CDs, where they just are like the best tracks on there. Point is though, I really wanted it, and I got the 2010 Warped Tour CD. I got it. I listened to it for 4 to 5 days. Been loving it. I only knew about 30% of the tracks in there, but I'm starting to learn more. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like now we have instant gratification on our phones. We can listen to whatever we want. We can skip songs whenever we want. I have to sit down and listen to this entire album, right? I mean, I could technically skip, but I don't want to. It's what I like about listening to whole albums. But that's just me. That's aside from the point, though. So I was looking at the other years of like, okay, well, which one do I want to buy next? Which one has my favorite? Which one do I know more songs of? Has more bands I know and like, right? And I found that Warped Tour 2011, surprisingly the year after, was like the best one out of the options, where it had the most people I liked, most songs I liked. There was The Devil Wears Prada, Anatomy, I think it was Closure by Asking Alexandria, Abandon All Ships. It was like good songs I already knew, and that made me want to buy it even more. So I wanted it. I was literally in the gym parking lot, about to go to my workout. I was procrastinating. My pre-workout meal was already digested. I had my pre-workout drink. I had to go in the gym. Instead, I was sitting in the parking lot. I was on Amazon. I'm like, oh, $9. Awesome. Buy. Without even giving it a second thought. And then I went in the gym, and before I even started my workout, I just sat there and thought, I was like, I'm cheating myself out. I thought about it. I was like, as a kid, there's always going to be stuff you want, right? There's always like the new toy or a new game or something you want as a child. But when you would ask your parent, like, or your mom or your dad, oh, can I get this new toy? What are they going to tell you? Unless you have like crazy spoiled parents, they're more likely going to be like, no, you don't need it, right? Because you don't. But they'll be willing to give it to you or buy it for you if it's a holiday, your birthday, Christmas, or you do something good, like you get straight A's, you behave well, you don't do a bad behavior, you prove that you're worthy of it, and then you get the reward. And that's what makes the whole gratification process so nice. I was thinking about, I also enjoy anime and manga, and I love the Tokyo Ghoul series, and I've collected each individual volume as it came out over time. As soon as they released, I would buy it one by one. But I remember being a kid, I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and I would like 6th grade also when I started. I would save up all my money to go to the store, go to the Barnes and Noble, the Walmart, whatever, and buy that book for $10 or whatever. I would save all my money and do it. And it felt so good because I was getting it one at a time. But I thought about it now that the entire series is out. If I were to just instantly buy both of the box sets, because they sell them in one box where it's all the volumes in one for a cheaper price, it makes the most sense, right? But I realized I'm glad I did what I did, and I appreciate the volumes I have more because each one has more character, because I bought them one at a time at a certain time they came out. So I was like, I don't want to just buy any CD that I instantly want automatically just because I earn it. I want to make this more aimed towards my actual goals. So I said, okay, I want to put something behind this. So what is the equivalent of telling a 10-year-old, oh, if you get straight A's on your next report card, I'll buy you that toy? What is the adult equivalent of that? So for you, that might be getting in shape, going to the gym for 2 months, tracking your calories for a month, whatever. For me, it was after signing my next client. And I was like, okay, yeah, whenever I sign my next client on to one-on-one coach, I can work with them. I love doing that. I love working with clients. That will be my reward. And that's going to help me to work harder, put content out like this, post on social media, that stuff that I like doing it, but it takes a little bit of pushing regardless of whatever stage I'm at. Now, should do versus wants to do. This is something I use for productivity to actually utilize the expensive dopamine now that you know what it is. And by the way, just to explain this completely, if I were to not cancel this 2011 CD, which by the way, as soon as I went in the gym, I canceled it because I was like, I don't need this, right? If I were to cancel it, I would just give myself the cheap dopamine, right? I'd be doing this. But instead, I turn it into expensive dopamine, even though it's only $9. I can easily afford this CD. It's not a problem, obviously. But I can put it behind a goal to help me work harder towards that. Now, when you actually want to be productive, should do versus want to do's. So say you have a few hours to get some things done, or you have a day's worth of tasks to do. Say you should do and you want to do. So you should go to the gym, you should eat a high protein meal, you should take a 15-minute walk every single day. These are literally my examples. There's things you want to do. I want to listen to a podcast. I want to watch a YouTube video. I want to listen to music, right? So if you take these two things you want to do, if you were to just go the cheap dopamine route, you would do all of these first and then be like, well, I'm still procrastinating my should do's because I just spent all my time doing this and I have no motivation to do it. I have no consistency, right? I've literally been there myself. So what I do instead is I stack these together and pair them, whichever ones fit the most. So when combined, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to listen to the podcast, but I'm going to listen to the podcast when I'm in the gym working out. I want to watch YouTube, but instead of watching YouTube on my bed, I'm going to go make a high protein meal and then watch the YouTube as I make the meal and eat my meal. I want to listen to the music I like. I'll do that on a 15-minute walk. You see what I mean? So it's just combining these things together so that way they're both getting done. You're getting rewarded, and it's turning this cheap dopamine into expensive dopamine to get you closer to your goals and actually do what you need to do, which you know you should do. Next thing I want to talk about is riding momentum. Push an extra few reps. So what I mean by this, for example, is every time I'm in the gym where I might have like 12 reps to do on bicep curls, and I get my 12th rep done, and it was hard, right? But I know, you know what? I can do another 2 or 3. And I really, really push it out and grind it out. I've already started my set. I've already done the 12 reps I need to do. I've already hit the minimum. Now I have momentum built. I want to do 3 more. If I were to wake up out of my bed and be like, okay, well, let me go do 12 reps of a heavy weight on curls, it's going to be a lot harder to do because like, I'm not in the gym. I'm not ready. I didn't just do a set. I'm not warmed up whatsoever. But instead, when I'm already in that situation, it's a lot easier to do with a few extra steps, right? So follow me on this. I tell myself I will walk 15 minutes every single day, and I do that every single night. I post on my stories. Today I did in the morning, right? But the thing is, I set a timer on my phone for 15 minutes, and I say, okay, in this 15 minutes, I have to get my walk done. I literally write it down every morning in my journal, so it reminds me to do it. And I do it, but the funny thing is, once the 15 minutes is over, most times, if I have extra time, I'll want to walk an extra 10 minutes just because I'm already outside. I'm already walking. But then again, if I just like got off of work and it's like, okay, go do a walk for 25 minutes, I'm gonna be like, fuck that. No, I'm not doing that. But instead, if I've already done the minimum of 15 minutes, doing an extra 10 is not too bad. It's riding that momentum that I already built for myself, right? So it's starting small and growing big. So another thing, this morning I took a cold shower. The hardest part is actually getting in the water and doing that. I know if I do that, I can still wash my body, wash my hair, right? Whatever I need to do. It's not like washing my hair is the hardest part if I'm already under the cold water. It's initially getting in the cold water. Once I'm in there, I can ride the momentum and keep going. You see what I mean? Momentum makes it easier. So if you're stopping early or just always doing the bare minimum, try getting a little bit more because you have that momentum. It's literally like free points that you're missing out on that you could totally just do to make up for that. And it works in so many different ways. And where I kind of learned this idea branch from was from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm currently not done with this, but I'm reading a little over halfway through. And one lesson he taught me from this is take something very small and start with that. So for example, if you are currently not going to the gym, but you know you want to, you know you want to get in shape, you know you need to, try this. Go to the gym for just 10 minutes 4 times a week. But here's the big but. Only thing is, you can only stay there for 10 minutes. So as soon as you walk in that door, you set a timer for 10 minutes. You have to leave after the 10 minutes. You can do whatever you want inside. You might not even want to work out. You don't need to. You can go on the treadmill. You can go to the locker room, use the bathroom, and sit on the couch for all I care. But then you have to leave after that 10 minutes. And I want you to do that for a week if you're not already going to the gym. And what's going to happen is by the 4th, even the 3rd day, you're going to be like, I want to stay here a little bit longer. I already got dressed. I'm already here. I want to work out. But you have to restrain yourself for those first 7 days and just do whatever you want, but only in that 10 minutes. You can't do longer. Then after that, tell yourself whatever time limit you know you can do. Okay, well, I'm going to go for 15 minutes this time. You go in for 15 minutes. And then now that you're kind of free, you can, okay, well, today I'll do 30 minutes because I have extra time. You see what I mean? Start small with your requirements. So the idea with this is it's actually really important. So this is what I want to talk about. It's actually going to relate to this. This is important. Don't dive straight into the deep end. This is the point I'm trying to make. I burned out when I started. I started so many times trying to get in shape, trying to lose body fat. I thought you had to do the most. I'm always big on like maximizing and how can I get to the next result, the next checkpoint as soon as possible, right? How can I speed run there? So when I first started going to the gym, well, not the first, one of my actual attempts that I thought was going to be successful, just like all the rest of them, I was going to the gym 6 days a week, doing 2-hour weightlifting workouts because I thought more time in the gym, the better. I was running literally every single day in my neighborhood for anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, running with a trash bag on my body because I learned that when I did wrestling and I was like, okay, this is how you lose weight. Lost water weight. It barely made a difference. I immediately cut out my carbs. I had no sugar. And that's this whole idea of like 75 hard or like, I don't even know, these dumb challenges. They're not meant to last. Don't dive straight into the deep end ever because it's not realistic. It's not sustainable. If you start small, your likelihood of being consistent is going to be so much greater. And the number one trait is not how good can you lift the weights, how good can you perform, how much money do you have to buy really nice food, eat healthy. No, it's consistency. If you are consistent, if you never quit, and if you never fail, or when you fail, you get back up and try again. If you never quit and never say, I give up, this is not meant for me. If you never give up, you will never fail. It's going to happen at some point. You're going to learn over time. It's going to happen over and over again until you learn the lesson that you have to stay consistent. And the easiest way that I've found to do this is by doing these small commitments, and my clients as well, by doing these small commitments, one piece at a time. And then over a greater amount of time, you're making it easier to do it so that we don't fall off the wagon. So many guys, and I understand why, because I had the same mentality, this exact same thing. I burned out by doing way too much and it wasn't sustainable. So now I use what I talked about in this video, momentum, expensive dopamine, pushing things later, pushing away instant gratification, making more long-term gratification. So use expensive dopamine to your advantage. It is your unfair advantage you will have above everybody else who's trying to get in shape, who's trying to do the dumb shit just like this. Everyone else is trying to do this. You probably have a cousin or an uncle or a grandpa, somebody in your life who's like, well, I'm starting a new diet today. You're like, oh, gee, here we go. Let's see what this one is. I'm eating only fish every single day, one meal a day. Some dumb shit like that. You know someone I'm talking about like that. You will have an unfair advantage if you use this expensive dopamine to your advantage because it is hard, but it's all about the baby steps and staying consistent. So if you want to work with me one-to-one, become one of my clients, book a call in the description. We'll see if it's a good fit. It'll ask you a few questions. If you are a good fit, we'll hop on a call, see that it makes sense, and then we'll onboard you as a client. Subscribe if you're not already. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.